And welcome back to the Chosen Life podcast with Jonathan, Arnold, and Barak, the three amigos. And it's the Chosen Life, buddy. And you're back with us. So 3 weeks of Barak. And this episode, Barak Ellis, we're going to talk about motivation. Now, I got to use the facilities at Forest Hill Aurora. And as I'm walking down there towards the bathroom, I see a sign. And it says, "Success is a decision." Tell me more. Tell me more.
Well, it's true. It is a decision. Everybody wants to be successful. Everybody throws that word out there as like, "Oh, I want to be successful," but it's a decision you have to make. It's like, okay, I want to be successful. How am I going to be successful? Let's make the decision, right? It's not so much of if I'll do something, I'll get there. You have to make a decision to make it happen. It just resonated with me. If you really want to make it out there, you gotta hustle, you gotta work, and all of that is one big decision to be able to get to that point that you want to be. Does that make sense?
Are you ready to have your mind blown?
Always.
If success is the Lamborghini, motivation is the fuel.
I like that.
Are you going to use Supreme Fuel, unleaded, or are you just not even going to fuel up the car? Because to me, if you don't put gas in the Lambo, it ain't driving, right?
Nope.
Motivation is your fuel for success.
I like that. It's true.
So how does a person go about acquiring? Everybody wants success. Like you said, everybody wants to be successful. We all have different definitions of what success, whether it's personal as far as how we look, how we feel, monetary, acquisitions, whatever it is. But we need motivation. We need the fuel to get there. How does one go about acquiring the fuel called motivation?
Man, there's so many angles to that. It's like motivation can go anywhere from your personal life. You have a family that relying on you. That should be a motivation to move towards an end goal of some sort. Motivation can come from a form of a book or movie or anything. One that worked for me very well, it's a movie/book. It's called A Peaceful Warrior. That movie changed a lot about how I see things. All the quotes, like it's not about the destination, it's about all that kind of, but it's all from that movie, a lot of it. It literally comes from the movie. And there's so many more quotes in that movie that one of my favorite quotes is that, there's never a dull moment. There's never nothing going on. There's always something happening. You just have to calm your mind, take out the garbage, and take it all in, so to speak. That movie definitely helped me to shape up a lot of my life. I watched it a million times, and I keep watching it every so often because every time I watch it, I learn something new. So motivation does come in many, many different forms. The formula is, where do you want to be? And then you kind of put the steps. Okay, if I want to be, let's call it real estate, I want to be the top producer, and I want to make 500,000. Okay, 500,000 translates into how many deals? Okay, so just throwing random numbers, let's call it 500,000, 10 deals, hypothetically, right? Okay, how am I going to go those 10 deals? I have 12 months in the year, 10 deals, that's, one deal every month and a half or so. How am I going to start with that? Okay, that means I need to talk to these many people on average to be able to close that one deal, right? So now you start being that hierarchy, and that helps motivate to get to that goal.
It's funny how we do the math in our minds and what equations works for us. When I was at my worst, Barak, I would have, let's say, 10 quotes I give out. So people get introduced to me. I'd like to hire you as my real estate lawyer. Can you send me a quote? And let's say I send out 10 quotes. And let's say I got 9 out of the 10 deals, okay? I would constantly focus on the one that I lost, and that would make me nuts. And it would be time and time again. If I went to the gym and I had a great 1-hour session and I did X amount of lifting, all I focused on was that one rep I didn't get in,
That happens to me a lot.
And failure at some point was just crushing me because all I would think about is my failures and where I didn't go well and why did this happen. And it would nonstop play in my mind. And then I started seeing life a little differently. When I started reading books about very successful people and reading what a lot of them had in common, it was that they wake up very early in the morning, they get their workouts in first thing in the morning, and they get more accomplished in the morning before most people wake up. But all those people at some point or another fell on their face, and they failed time and time and time again. And even at 40, 50 years old and never having sniffed success, they kept at it, and then eventually it went. And I'm a baseball fan, and I started reading about baseball players, and I thought about it. A hitter goes up to the plate, goes 10 at bats, fails 7 times, but gets 3 hits. To me, all I focused was you failed 7 times, but you hit on those 3, you're gonna have a 300 average. Guess what? You're probably going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And I started realizing my issue is it's not necessarily the failure, is that I'm afraid to even try. And if I'm gonna try and I'm not gonna succeed, I'm okay with that because I tried at least, and I'm gonna be good with that. And I'm gonna keep trying and keep trying. And guess what? I'm gonna try 10 times and I'm gonna fail 7 times and I'm gonna hit on 3 of them. I'm gonna focus on those 3. And it's amazing how that mind shift can work.
Oh, it's crazy. I see it at the gym all the time. People will concentrate on the fact that, oh man, this guy beat me on the run, and like, oh, I'm so down on myself. And I'll be like, but listen, you ran. How many people don't? And all of a sudden, their face just like, whoa, right? Sometimes I see people, even again going back to the gym, and like the first time at the gym, they're coming in, they're like, man, I haven't run in so long. Like, I don't think I can do this 200 meters, so I'm gonna try. Sure, they were slow and they were so beat about it. I'm like, again, like, how many people are sitting on their couch not doing anything? But you're here, right? Don't concentrate on. It's so easy to concentrate on the failures, and that only causes you to come down. Look at the other side. Look at the flip side of what you are doing that's better than what it was before. Don't concentrate on why you're failing. Concentrate on what you're succeeding at, right? You're already doing, whether it's, you were talking about the gym and lifting, like, oh, I couldn't do the 400 pound, but you did 300. That's already like ahead of how many people, right? You're in real estate. You did 1 deal this year. Great. But that's 1 deal more than some people that haven't done anything. There's over 70,000 realtors, right? How many of them did nothing? Right? Don't concentrate on that. Sure, you should use it as a motivator. Okay, this year I did 1 deal. Next year I'm going to do 2 deals. And the following is going to be 3 deals and 4 deals and 5 deals. Use that as like the trampoline, right? Everybody's failing. Jordan didn't make it to his grade 9th basketball team, or grade 10 was it? Something like that, right?
Yeah.
He didn't make it. Didn't make the cut. And he's the GOAT.
Pretty much.
Arguably, right? KFC. He started getting his success came in his 50s.
Yeah.
And everybody knows what KFC is, right? Like, don't concentrate on what's put you down. You're down now. Once you're at the bottom, right? You can't go any lower.
It's only up.
It's only up.
I remember when I started doing yoga, okay, and I would be in the back of the class. I'd come in there, bad attitude, out of shape, looking at people saying, look at these people. They're so natural at it. I'm never going to be good at this. This is horrible. Why is this so hard? And blaming everything else. And then I remember one point in a class, as we're starting the class, the teacher says, so thank you for showing up. You've already done the practice by showing up. Showing up is the whole thing. Anything you do now is gravy, but you showed up. And there were times, Barak, I wanted to come to the 5:45 a.m., 6:45 a.m. class. I'm in bed making all these deals with myself and saying, you know what, I'm just going to sleep in. I'll go tomorrow. I'll go next week, whatever. And then at one point, I would tell myself, I just need you to just show up. If you show up to that room, I promise you, I'll let you sleep the whole time. I don't care if you sleep in the room and do no yoga. I just need you to show up. But you know what would happen, right? As soon as you show up, you're going to start doing it.
For sure.
And man, it was such a shift. And then coupled with the fact it's not a yoga competition. What do they call it? A yoga practice. When we go and we do a group class and a CrossFit class, or we have a personal training session, it's not competing. We're not going for Olympic gold here. It's a practice. So every time you show up, you're simply getting to practice. And if you're not doing well that day, guess what happens? You get to start the next day all over again and practice it again and again. Man, when you don't have that kind of pressure on yourself and you're like, everything in life starts to become practice, it's so much easier than when everything in life is a competition.
Either practice or self-competition. It's okay to compete with yourself. Today I did 5 minutes on the kilometer. Tomorrow I'm going to do 4.5. But it's a healthy type of competition. It's not like you beating yourself up. But it's like a funny way. Like you're laughing. It's, fine. I almost did my time. And you enjoy it, right? It's just how you take it and, you put it all together makes sense. Well, it's funny. It's like I was just thinking, have you watched a movie, Catch Me If You Can?
Of course.
Remember what the story always says? 2 mice fell in the bucket. But 2 mice fell in the bucket of cream. One drowned, the other one twirled until it became butter and climbed out. But it's so true. How many people that we come across, whether it's real estate, gym, whatever, oh, it's too hard for me, forget it. No, I can't do it. And then the other one's like, fuck. Like, yeah, it's hard. Yeah. But I'm going to turn this cream into butter. I'm going to make it work. I'm going to climb up. I'm not going to stick in that bottom. Right? It's
I met people in their 50s that went to medical school, a 60-year-old that went to law school.
yeah, there you go.
Whereas some people, Barak, I meet them in their 20s and 30s, and they're like, you know what? I didn't get to go do the courses I wanted in college, university. I never got that job I wanted. I didn't put the time into the gym. It's over for me now. I'm just gonna just slug it out the rest of my life. Like that's not a way to live, man. That's not motivation.
Listen, it could take you 5 years to get a degree. It could take me 10 years, but you know what? It's still a degree, and the degree has no dates. There's no date on the degree that says, oh, Barak took 10 years to get this degree, right? That's why it's like, doesn't matter how old you are. It's never too late to start something.
They told us in law school, they said, what do you call the person who finished at the top of their class in law school and the one who finished at the bottom of their class? Lawyers.
There you go.
They end up at the same place. It's
Yeah.
so funny.
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah.
Like even the real estate exams, it doesn't give you a mark. It's like a fail pass.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you really like. Oh, this guy got 90%. Trust me, it makes nothing. Right? The guy that got 75% versus the guy that got 100%. They're both realtors. At the end of the day, like you said, showing up is the biggest challenge people have. It's that getting there. Don't forget about all the BS in your head. Take out the garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Take that garbage out of your head and just do it. Right? It's like
It's there. But you know, when you're at your fitness best, you look your best, you feel your best. Life is going well professionally, personally. You're happy in your relationship. You're happy with your job. Motivation is flowing like fine wine at this point. It's at the point when you encounter the struggles, when you hit that road bump. So all of a sudden, something happens to you at work or something happens to you in life. You get injured, somebody passes away, you get sick, whatever tragedy falls, that's when you really learn about yourself. You know, when you're able to persevere past that and say, you know what? Life is getting a little hard now. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to work that a little bit harder. I'm going to make a better plan for myself. To me, that's a true test of motivation because there are people that very easily give up in life.
yeah.
And there are people that are not. And it's not good or it's not bad. But at the end of the day, it's within oneself. What I tell people is, look, if you could look at yourself in the mirror every night and you could say, I tried my best, I really did, then you can sleep at night. But when you know that you could have given a little more and you're like, nah, that's when I think you should question. No matter how successful you are, if you know you didn't pump into your full motivation, I think that's when one should really question themselves.
100%. That's exactly it. Like if you look at yourself in the mirror and you can truly say, I gave it my best shot today, you'll sleep pretty sweet. Where it's like, I could have done this and I could have done that. Right? Self-doubt and all that. People this day and age, the biggest problem that I see is that people are always looking for the easy way out. They want that magic button. Even realtors. If I tell them to door knock, if I tell you right now as a realtor, go door knock, you might get a lead. I'm like, oh, man, I don't want to do that. If I tell you, listen, I'll give you $50,000 if you go door knock this entire neighborhood. You go do it in a heartbeat, right? What they're not realizing is them door knocking the whole neighborhood probably is going to get them a lot more than $50,000, right? But it's just like people are just they lost that touch, like that. Yeah, like you know, they're just like, where's that easy button that I can just press and get it? It's like,
Those people with the easy button, Barak, you know, I'll tell you, I'll try to blow your mind a bit here, but I've told people before, I said, whether you're a lawyer, you're an accountant, a realtor, whatever your profession is, you're working for yourself. I can hand you 100 leads, but if you don't know what to do with them, it don't matter. The ones that know how to use those leads are the ones that know how to get the leads. It's funny how that kind of goes hand in hand, right? If you don't know how to get the lead, you certainly won't know how to deal with the lead.
correct, 100%. You know, just because you're gonna give me $10 million, am I gonna grow it into an empire, or am I gonna lose it within one day? Right? Some people, I hear that story time and time again. Oh, this guy had it so easy. His parents just gave him money. Sure, he took that money and made something with it. Right? He took that money, or he took those leads and he actually worked those leads. Not just took him and say, okay, thanks, and you know, did nothing with it and just spent everything. Right? No, there's knowledge. You have to know how to work it. Yeah, the fact that you gave me a lead, great. Right? How am I gonna call it? What am I gonna say? How am I gonna work it? How am I gonna captivate it? How am I gonna get this lead to generate me 2 more leads? Right? 1 turns into 2, 2 to 4, etc.
And to me, that goes all along with goal setting. So, Barak, when you're at your personal best, your professional best, life is good, you feel good, relationships are good, professional and personal, everything's going the way it should. How do you go about, like, when you're busy, leads are coming in all the time, you're helping people, if you're constantly at the gym, you're cooking, whatever it is, right? How do you set the time still for goal setting? Like, what kind of priority for you is goal setting, short term, long term? How do you work with that?
As much as my life is busy, like you say, it can get busy. It's time blocking is my number one thing. So you gotta block the time. Saying, okay, between this time and that time is when I'm gonna dedicate this hour for myself, not for the gym, not for social media, none of that. And this is my hour of, making goal setting for the week or for the day or the month or the year, whatever you choose to do. But you have to dedicate that X amount of time in a week purely for your own self, without no interruptions, nobody around, and just kind of like jot things down. You know who's really good with that? And I'll give him a big shout out, Michael Switzer. Sometimes he'll be like, it can be midnight and I see my phone just go off. Why? Because Michael Switzer came to like this, always has these moments where he'll just be like, dude, and he just idea after idea after idea after idea after idea. And it's like all these like goals like for the brokerage and for this and for that. And God, I love him for that. He just keeps going like crazy. But that's almost like goal setting, the same idea. Like you're taking that hour or the whatever and you just jot everything down. What do you need to get done? How to get to that place? How to get to that spot? Like etc. You have to dedicate that. Life always gonna get busy. There's always something happening, right? If I take your schedule right now, guaranteed it's packed.
Making my schedules like playing Tetris. You constantly try to fit all these little spaces, and you find a way. Yeah, absolutely.
Right, it's packed. But if you make it a priority, saying I don't care what happens, every Monday 9 to 10 a.m., don't touch that time slot, you can make it happen.
You want to get something done? Ask somebody busy to do it. Do you want to know where I get all my ideas? It's funny. I'm listening to it and I'm thinking about like, when do I put those time together? When do I block off those times? And I'll tell you when. Actually, every single really good idea I've had in the last 15 years is because I showed up to yoga early. I went into Shavasana. I laid there. There's no phone. There's no TV. There's nobody talking to me. And when I have that moment of stillness, it's funny how the ideas just drop into my head, And then I finish the class, and before I go even shower, I go to jot down the ideas. Because it's funny, when I have the clarity, I can see the bigger picture. When I'm go, and my mind's working a mile a minute time, I don't have the brain capacity to then come up with things. So it's funny, I find that blocking of time, maybe that's why they say meditation is so crucial for people. Be alone with your thoughts, stillness, get to know yourself, and then you learn what you're about. But find those times. Just find those times.
Listen, I'm doing breath work every morning when I wake up, right? 5:30 a.m., 5:45. And I'm not talking crazy, 10, 15 minutes. What it does, sure, during the time of the actual breath work, when the coach talks to you, you clear your mind. Zero thoughts. Yeah. It's just you, your body, and that's it. It's all it is. But it's after, when you're done with it and you're still laying there in the dark, and all of a sudden your thoughts are slowly starting to come up, and you have the creativeness. That's why a lot of people sometimes will say, you get the most creative thoughts, you know when? Right before you're about to fall asleep. All of a sudden, right before that moment you're about to fall asleep, you come up with the most greatest idea. And I'm not the only one. It's quite the thing. And they say, write it down. Because we say, okay, I remember this tomorrow, and you pass out.
You never will.
You'll never will.
Yeah.
Write it down right away. That same moment, sure, it's gonna wake you up, but just write it down. You're literally the most creative right before you're about to doze off. It's like with that small little time, where your brain is before its disconnecting moment and everything, your thoughts are drifting off, and you just left with those creative ideas.
I love it.
Write it down. Notice tonight when you're gonna go to sleep, write it down. You'll see.
Write it down. And it's funny because if you're on your phone right up until the time you fall asleep, you're watching TV right up until the time you fall asleep, you don't get that time of de-stressing to yourself and falling asleep gently. And it's no coincidence then that if you're on your phone and you fall asleep with your phone on your face, you go into sleep like nervous, you wake up nervous. That's why they say put your phone away at least an hour or two before bed. Give yourself that de-stressing time to go to sleep. And then it's amazing what will flow through your mind when you go to bed, when you wake up. I love it, Barak. So tell me, you're such a good life energy, a friend, a brother to our universe. Whether it be real estate, fitness, life, how do people reach you, Barak, to ask you those questions and to get the Barak secret sauce?
Instagram, Barak Real Estate, or that's probably one of the best ones. You can just message me there or email me info@barakrealestate.ca, or call me.
He's accessible. He does pick up his phone.
I do pick up my phone quite a bit. My wife is not a happy camper about it, but it is my business. I'm always available, always there. I love to help, love to be there for people anytime.
Barak, man, you are such a success story, and seeing where you've grown in life and excited for the future, for yourself, for Forest Hill Aurora. It's a pleasure to be part of the team, the family, and I gotta say, man, you've been so great for the energy, and we look forward to having you back in the future on the Chosen Life podcast in 2025. Is that a deal?
100%. Thank you. And honestly, thank you, not just for this, but for always supporting our office, supporting our agents, myself. I know you've been there countless of times, and whether me or my agent and everything else. And truly thank you for that. And we all love you here. You know that. So
It's all love, buddy.
that's it.
Love it. Well, we'll see you all back real soon on the Chosen Life podcast, and we'll continue to find our moments of motivation and calm.